Now, Stephen, we have more live guests in the studio, the first in-person live guests for this morning's show.
Yes. We have them in the studio with us today.
No more phones, thank God. No issues with the technology.
Technical difficulties, hopefully. Absolutely. So we have with us, Pat O'Connor and we have Klaus Echkard Kraemer. Now, the two of you, local artists, you have an exhibition in the Edna O'Brien Library in Scariff at the moment. That includes some of, Pat, your photography, or your paintings rather, and your sculptures, and Klaus, some of your photography. Would you like to speak to us a little bit about those?
Yeah, I'm very happy for the opportunity to exhibit. It's kind of the lifeblood of any artist. The work is called, the exhibition is called Confusion, and it just it relates to the difference in the work and yet the compatibility. Like all art is a lie, really, because it represents something slightly exaggerated or changed, and Klaus's work is very real and very realistic in one way, but also it's very, very exciting in the way he creates light in his shapes. My work is not plein air, it's not direct representation. It comes from memory. I spent a lot of my time at sea as a young person and stuff, so a lot of the seascapes of this work.
Your background is in fishing?
Yeah, originally, yeah. And in sculpture, my sculpture I tend to do people's, which is heads and faces generally in my sculpture work, or animals. In my paintings I do landscapes and seascapes, and some not as direct as that. So it really is a wonderful opportunity to share the space with Klaus.
Yes, definitely. And having been down to the library and seeing that, I think the idea of this fusion between these two styles, and as you say, the confusing idea that despite coming at art from very different angles and having seemingly different styles, it does have this. Your work does have this strange blend where. This strange similarity, I suppose, where people looking at them, I think, might find that one could be of the other, even though you're coming at it from different angles, one in photography, one in painting. It's very interesting. And Klaus, if you'd like to speak about your work there and how you feel about this joint exhibition.
The exhibition is best described by something that Pat has to say in Irish, because he told me something when we came to the studio, when we drove to the studio. He said he saw something at my house. Pat,
originally when Klaus named it, he suggested the name Fusion, and I immediately responded Confusion, but I was leaning towards calling it An Círo Gela, as in the Irish saying, Ahanin Círo Círo Gela, one beetle recognises another beetle. The similarity is not obvious, and yet there's a compatibility in it. So it's very pleasing and satisfying when you walk in, for me to walk in and see. When I saw Klaus's work, I've known him for a long time, we've exhibited before, but not just the two of us, and I was sort of...
This is the first time you've ever done an exhibition, the both of you together?
We've exhibited in different groups and individually, but his work is very striking and very bright, and my paintings are more subdued, I think, and I was afraid they would die in the whole process, but actually they complement each other.
They do complement each other very well.
So I'm very pleased about it.
Yes, and Klaus, you had for your exhibition on a Thursday night, there was a big event. You had a wonderful turnout. I think there was Scariff Bay were there on the evening. I think there was some other journalists. Would you like to talk about the evening and how you felt that went?
Yeah, the event was really fantastic. We couldn't do a normal opening, which we should have done at the beginning of the exhibition due to the weather, of course. So we decided to do something we called a midway gathering, like halfway through the exhibition. And we were absolutely flabbergasted by the amount of people that were there. I was talking to Pat and say, listen, if we have a dozen people here, we know we had, and thanks very much, Jim Collins, for recording the whole event. We knew we had Scariff radio there. We knew the Glad Champion was coming, and that was that. And then all of a sudden, there's like 50 people there. And there's Donna McGettick and the TD from Shannon was there. We had Conor Ryan, councillor, Pat Hayes, the Kahila of the Clare County Council, and was the mayor of the Killaloe Municipal District now as well. I'm glad to hear that. And there were so many people there, and artists were there, friends were there, but it was a huge mix. And that's what somebody told me, that there were people from all walks of life. And it was a fantastic event, and I can't thank the staff of the library enough. Stephanie O'Keefe and Samantha Morrissey and Ruth Minogue and Eva Spellman. And of course Podrick Miles was always there, giving a helping hand. It was just a fantastic event, really.
Klaus, Pat, Pat, I might go to you first. I'm just curious to know, how did you get into all this? I mean, it's quite an amazing skill.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think if I had access to art in school, but there was no art in Indra schools, first and second level. But I think I was always attracted or drawn into it. You know, it just happened very naturally. I didn't. And over the years, I did various trainings. I did a diploma in industrial design in my mid-20s, and I studied fine art. DCU have an external course in Sherkin Island, and I did that over, parallel to my working life, but I never really had the time or the focus or having a family and children and stuff. It wasn't easy to go full time until I retired, really. Well, the pandemic was very helpful. I mean, I started focusing.
It passed away at the time, did it?
Yeah, and it gave me the opportunity to focus on it. And give it priority. It was always kind of secondary, even though I had given it, been very drawn it and attracted to it. I think if I had been in a school where there was art, I would possibly have been an artist. Early on in my life, I would have chosen art rather than what I chose. But I'm very happy the way it has worked out too.
And Klaus, was it the very same for you then as well? How did you get into it also?
Well, I'm a trained journalist and photographer, and after I retired from my professional career, I went a lot into art, as in taking photos. But I know there are many photographers who are much better than I am. So I said I have to kind of find a unique way of presenting my stuff.
A niche, in other words, yes.
So I developed something which I call photographic, and which means digitally altering photos. And what I always try to do is kind of create an emotion. I always try to tell stories with my pictures, and that's exactly what's happening at our exhibition. The Edna O'Brien Library, the gallery of the Edna O'Brien Library, you have basically two sides, left side, right side. But Pat and I, we didn't take one side Pat, one side Klaus. We kind of mixed our pictures, and it took us exactly, and your listeners, you mightn't believe it, but it took us more than 8 hours to hang the exhibition, to decide exactly which picture goes where, which sculpture goes where.
Oh, wow.
It is really because we wanted for people to have an experience, walking in, just going around the place and seeing getting into the swing of things, feeling the different emotions.
And I see here you have a beautiful picture in front of myself and Stephen here. Can you tell us a little bit about this? I know it is very hard to for our listeners to imagine what this picture is about, but can you tell us where this was taken?
Yes, I can. It's Fenlow Lake. It's pretty close to 6 Mile Bridge, And to make matters worse, it's not even in the exhibition because
right, okay.
because I have exhibited it before, and normally when I have exhibited something in one place, I never exhibited the same picture there again. So everything people see, and Petros is the very same thing. So everything people see at the Edna O'Brien Library is new, which is good. But to describe a picture on radio isn't that easy. But what you certainly can see is that it's colourful, it's bright.
It's beautiful, isn't it, Stephen? It's beautiful.
And it's something. It's different from normal photography. That's what it tells a story.
And I'm assuming it's the summertime. Obviously, the trees are full of leaves, and it's a beautiful photo.
It looks like it was
absolutely
taken at that time of the evening where the sun is kind of at the perfect position in the summer, lighting up the trees, the colours all complement each other so well. It's really beautiful.
Yeah.
And if we can go back to the exhibition, of course, it's not either of your first exhibitions. Both of you have many in your past. I think, Klaus, you've had exhibitions in Germany, in America, in all kinds of places over the years, and yourself, you've had plenty all over the countries over the years. If either of you would like to speak about either of those.
Well, I had
I'd like to speak about any of your past work, that is.
Yes, of course. Some of my stuff has been bought by Americans. That's true, but I didn't have an exhibition in America yet. Oh, well, that's it might happen,
Yes.
and I hope it happens soon. As Pat mentioned before, the pandemic kind of really put a spanner in the works for all of us. So the exhibition that I had planned for 2020, they didn't materialize. And in 2020, I moved with my wife Claudia to Scariff. And so we basically started again. I have been exhibiting before in Germany, obviously extensively. I did 10 or so solo shows in Germany, but I've exhibited in France and
Albania.
Albania, yes, I was invited to Albania. That was a fantastic, absolute fantastic experience. I did 2 solo shows in Albania, and they were really massive with huge media coverage. That was really great. Exhibited in Austria and basically Central Europe. That was very important. But coming back to Ireland, coming to Ireland, it was great to get into the artist community fairly fast. It wasn't easy. It was really not easy because obviously I'm a foreigner. I'm a guest in your lovely country, guest of your lovely country, and it just took some time to get used to the different ways of approaching art in this country. And I can only say thank you to Ireland, thank you to East Clare for welcoming me.
We're more than happy to have you, Klaus, and you're fitting into the scene brilliantly. I recall you even commenting the last day you're hoping to begin some Irish language, hopefully. So
I'm actually at it.
Yes.
Slowly but surely.
Slowly but surely. Yes. And
yeah, I started. I exhibited. I suppose I've been exhibiting for maybe 5 or 6 years. I never really expected, starting so late, to have the opportunities I've had. I've exhibited in Donegal, Sherkin Island, Glistowel, mostly up the West Coast. And an exhibition really is the lifeblood for an artist. It's a very lonely kind of a journey unless you have opportunities to exhibit. So I really appreciate every opportunity that comes. And I feel very, very lucky and blessed that I've had these opportunities. I did not expect, starting when I did, that I would.
Pat, you just touched on something there. You said it's a very lonely road for someone in this particular field, right? If someone who's listening today, whether they're young or old, that want to take this up full time, what would you say to them?
It's very, very satisfying, the actual process of creating art, and creativity is, it's difficult because you have to you're putting yourself out there and represent yourself. But I would say just do it, just keep doing it, and take any opportunity to come. I mean, looking back at my work over the years and where I started and how it developed and evolved. and it wouldn't really have done that if I didn't have the opportunity to expose and display myself.
I was just going to say, it's all about the publicity, like radio interviews, any sort of publicity you can get. That's how you get your work out, isn't it?
Yeah, and I think it's really important for me. And I would imagine for most people, there's a need to, every now and then, expose yourself so that you kind of complete something or satisfy something so you can move on.
Yes.
I think I would probably have become I wouldn't have evolved or developed without the exposure.
Klaus, was it the very same for you as well?
Absolutely. The PR business is of course really important for us, because you remain lonely if people don't know that what you're doing, and you have to go out there, show your stuff, and try to connect with people.
Exposure is key, isn't it?
Exposure is key. Social media are important to us, of course. But obviously, the classic approach, like print media, Claire Champion, is very important as well. Absolutely.
But there is that there is that fear, of course. With print media, like the Claire Champion. It's a very much dying. Medium, big, it's a lot more on the smartphones now. The physical paper itself, it maybe not be a thing in the future, so that's probably something to be considering as well.
But they probably don't like the idea of
of
a dying medium.
But we've seen it. Yeah.
You've seen it, of course. Yeah. I think there's still a place for print media there somehow. Not only because I'm of age where obviously I've been working in print media for many years. I think people love holding something in their hands from time to time, which doesn't kind of flicker and do things that they can't control. And if you turn the page of a newspaper, you still know what you have.
Try tell that to the younger generation.
I started working with computers, and I can tell you exactly in 1982.
Yeah.
And many people who were listening to us weren't around then. And obviously I started using WhatsApp from the day it was on the market. Used Facebook and Instagram, and I used Twitter before Elon Musk bought it, so not that happy using
not as much anymore then.
No, using Blue Sky now, much more. Yeah, so slowly but surely. But there's no other way to connect to people. You have to use all channels, and that's what we do.
Yes, definitely. And
Pat, you just want to say
just to say, for people who are beginning, I resisted becoming an artist for a long time. I think because I was quite fearful that, if something got positively responded to, I could become quite elated and high, and if it got dismissed, I would become quite low and depressed. So I was quite fearful of exposing myself in that way. And I would say to people, just get through that, and if you want to be a creative artist, I think it's important to put yourself out there and not be afraid of what other people may think or respond. You have to keep going, and it does improve. It does get easier, and you have to develop confidence in your own style. And it's easy to kind of lose confidence if you don't.
Yes. Stephen, do you want to wrap up there, and we'll just have the final word?
Yes, absolutely. Well, thanks to both yourself, Pat, and Klaus, for coming. Yes, and we encourage all our listeners to get out to the Edna O'Brien Library and give your exhibition a look. It's a wonderful little work, so thank you for coming on.
Thank you. And so, the exhibition can be viewed until the 29th of January at the Edna O'Brien Library in Scariff.
29th of January. Perfect.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a million. All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We'll take a quick break.